Man, I kind of wonder when was the last time I reviewed an obscure Nintendo Wii platformer? See here. Crash of the Titans, Too Unknown, Looney Tunes, maybe. Sly Cooper, it's not even a Wii game, and oh boy, 9 months. Well, it's time. Man, this Mushroom Man the Spore War game on Wii isn't that good. Like, why doesn't he have a gun? Mushroom Man, the Spore War. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Get it? Okay, all jokes aside, Mushroom Man the Spore War was released on the Nintendo Wii in 2008 and exclusively for the Nintendo Wii in 2008, which means the game never got a PS3, Xbox 360, heck, even a PC release, which may turn some people off a bit, but let me tell you, do not let that judge the game. Judge the game? Whatever that means. And as I mentioned in that intro, the game is very, what's the word? Obscure? And you know me, I'm the obscure guy. I gotta cover all of the obscure games in the world. Besides Rule of Rose, cause have you seen the price tag? Also, I need to add that on the box of the game, it says that it's better than Mario Galaxy. What?
So, is this game better than Mario Galaxy? Short answer, no. But is it a good game? Well, you're just gonna have to watch the video to find out. So without any further ado, let's get into... Oh, I just 1 second. Let's get into Mushroom Man, the Spore War.
So here's one of the weird things about the game, and yes, it is a very weird game, but here's the first one. The title screen is an interactive one. The only other game I've ever really played that has an interactive title screen is like Psychonauts, and that's like one of my favorite games of all time, so of course this reminded me of it. One day, from the depths of space, a meteor shot down from Earth. The meteor just seemed a normal meteor at first, but then mushroom people came out. And then after the mushrooms came to life, everything was kind of normal. You know, besides from mushrooms being alive, they lived in peace until the Fire Nation attacked. I mean, other types of mushrooms started a war. All you really need to know is that they wanted to come attack to get rid of all of the creatures with the spore in them, and only one remained. Pax, and then one day he eventually found other mushrooms. So now we're at the point where Pax finds the village, and as you can tell, this environment just looks so amazing and oh, what is that thing? So if it wasn't clear enough in that intro, this is a 3D platformer, more specifically a 3D platformer about a mushroom. You know, I'm curious, do you think someone in the future is going to make a video called Ghoststone's review of Mushroom Man, but every time he says mushroom, the video gets faster? Why do I go on these weird tangents? Is there even an official word? I don't know where I was going with this. Let's go over his moveset. Firstly, he has a jump, but also a glide move. It's kinda like Spyro from the Spyro the Dragon series, if you've ever played any of those games. So the game has combat. Pretty obvious considering this is a 2000s platformer, but here's where the combat gets bad. See, it uses motion controls. Now, I am not against motion controls. Like, seriously, the Nintendo Wii is like one of my favorite video game systems of all time, but when it's used for stuff like combat, it just gets bad. Motion controls can be used for some amazing stuff, like look at Mario Galaxy for instance. But here, There's even a crafting system. This came out a full year before Minecraft. So you could say it predicted Minecraft. Jello Kitty?
Are we seriously trying to add social commentary into a game about living mushrooms that have created their own society?
So after carrying up a doll, a bit of platforming, and going for a mine for 20 minutes, we get to our first boss fight? I don't know what to call it. Anyways, this fight isn't anything special, but the way the boss dies is just gruesome. You have to do this stuff and then just thing falls down and then dies and then walk all over its guts. But the blood isn't red, so I guess it's okay for an E rating. The ESRB does not make any sense. And at the end of this stage, you unlock a sort of like grapple hook thing, whatever you call these sort of things. I'm not even sure if it has a name. Anyways, it can be pretty fun to use, but it doesn't get that much use after this. So you think the last boss fight was bad? Oh boy, in this one, you have to kill these innocent rabbits. How does this game have an E rating? Who at the ESRB went, yep, this is fine, this is acceptable, slap an E rating on that. And immediately after that stage, we get another boss fight against Creepypasta Rabbit. Well, yeah, this is a very good game. The boss fights, as you can tell, like, most platformers are very, this fight is very confusing at first. And getting the thing, whatever it is, to the rock is stupid difficult. It literally took me 40 minutes. I wish I was joking. But then after that, I can't really do the game in my usual review structure. Sure, there are some new mechanics introduced, but I'll be talking about them from now on in a more standard review structure. Firstly, let's talk about the puzzles in this game. Now, some of the puzzles can be very okay. Some of them are just annoying. Like this one, for instance. So for this puzzle, the whole concept is that you have to get this TV remote to a bunch of TVs, and that somehow makes the TV explode. I don't know why it makes it explode, but it does, so okay. But it's very hard to figure this out on your first try. It took me forever to figure it out. If there wasn't this thing called the internet, I think it could have taken me even longer. Then we have one of these puzzles. I don't know if it has a name, which to my understanding in a lot of these type of games, it's a pretty common type of puzzle. Anyways, it took me forever to figure out like the last one, and as I'll say it again, if the internet didn't exist, I would be stuck completely. Okay, so originally for this part of the video, I was going to talk about this one mini game in the game, and I was going to talk about how bad it was, but I was watching for the footage, and I noticed that there's a lot of flashing lights in the minigame. I'm not sure if it could trigger epilepsy. I cannot pronounce it correctly. I don't really suffer through it myself, but I'm not going to include it just to be safe. Anyways, if you want to know, the minigame is pretty bad. Also, I was playing some level, I forgot which one, but then this glitch happened, and it made me absolutely laugh. If I had my microphone on at the time, you should have heard my response. For this next boss, we have to kill off a few enemies first, and then we have to do all this like complicated puzzle solving, at least by this game's standards, and then kill off this cactus dude. It's easy, it just took me forever. The last boss before the final boss is this turtle. You have to shoot stuff on it a few times and it's dead. It's okay. I'm including this one last moment because I don't really know if this is a boss fight, but you have to fight like 3 separate, technically mini bosses of samurai mushrooms. It's pretty okay. Anyways, I'm just gonna stop working on this video for a day because I'm really hungry and I need to go get some pizza. So for the first half of the final level of the game, you have to bloat an airplane to get out of this window. It can go on for a little too long, but I think it's a pretty fun first half. And then after bloating the plane, we gotta go do some extra platforming through the shower? I'm pretty sure this is a shower, but who cares? Anyways, we enter the final boss. This fight is separated into multiple mini phases. Firstly, we gotta do some platforming, avoid a dog, and turn off a toy robot that apparently shoots lasers. I'm curious, in this universe, was that toy banned? So throughout phase 1, we have to throw a bunch of rocks at him, they throws at us, and then he gets into a vacuum cleaner. Now you would assume that kills him, but oh, you would be mistaken. Oh yeah, last minute editor's note, sometimes enemies will fight and then he teleports down here. Just thought I mentioned, because I forgot to leave it out in the script. I forgot to take that note, but I was watching through the gameplay and I saw it, so just go with it. So we knock over the TV, and now we have phase 2, and might I add that during this fight he has some of the most generic villain dialogue I have ever heard, not just in video games, but in any piece of media I've ever watched, played, or experienced in my life. So anyways, after a very underwhelming final fight, we go back to the village, we basically save the whole mushroom world, and credits. So that was Mushroom Man, the Spore War, and what did I think of it? It can be a mixed bag sometimes, but it can also be really good at points. There were a lot of issues, like the painfully average boss fights, and the combat was awful, but for completely different reasons compared to most platformers, but that's besides the point. But there were also a lot of positive elements, like the game has a lot of great platforming, level design, and also has an amazing art direction. And the best part, the game is relatively cheap. You can find it for, I don't know how much, I'm gonna have a bit here where I'm showing how much it goes for. And yeah, it's a relatively cheap game to get, so I would recommend it. Anyways, my name is Ghostin, and I'll see you in the next review.